A few weeks ago, I was at my favorite clothing store, Alice and Olivia. My not official, but very official stylist, Savannah, because obviously her name is Savannah, casually told her coworker, "Oh, Sheila has a podcast." And the girl turns to me and goes, "Oh, really? What's it about?" And you guys, in that moment, I shrunk. Literally, my already tiny self turned into a pocket sized 4-year-old with a helium balloon for a voice. I babbled something like, "Oh, I don't know, it's just stories like, if Bridget Jones had a self help podcast," which honestly is still a great pitch. And I walked out of that store thinking, why did I do that? Why is it so hard to own the things we create, especially when we love them? I promised myself right then and there, next time someone asks about my podcast, I'm not going to shrink. I'm going to go up, shoulders back, voice steady, and tell the world what I do and why it matters. Welcome to Small Talk with Sheila. This is a podcast that feels like your favorite rom-com, but it's my actual real life. If you're new here, hi, I'm Sheila. I tell personal stories with a little self-help on the side. Think if Bridget Jones went to therapy, got a microphone, and started a podcast. And if you've been here for a while, welcome back. You might notice a few things have changed. Yep, upgraded studio, more video content, hi YouTube, and yes, I've been getting bossier with the fashion because we are in our express yourself era, people. So get comfy, grab your favorite beverage, a little snack, and light your Sheila candle. Let's get into it. Here's what I'm realizing. So many of us are craving more creativity, more freedom, more expression, but we're afraid to actually share that creativity and express it with the world. For most of my life, self-expression wasn't optional. It was oxygen. When I was younger, it looked like elaborate Barbie story arcs, living room monologues, and dreams of becoming the next Judy Blume. Except I could never get past the about me section. Most of my creations weren't even for other people. I wasn't doing it for attention. I was doing it because it felt good. Like coming up for air after holding your breath underwater for a long time. I've always been tiny, but expressing myself made me feel big. It meant telling the truth, even when it was messy, even when no one was listening. But somewhere along the way, I started to believe that being too expressive was a liability. I don't know, maybe I should tone it down. Be more polished, more marketable, more sensible, as my parents would say. And there was this moment in my 20s. I had moved to Arizona on a whim. I was taking this acting class, and you guys, I loved it. Dramatic people, zero chill. It lit me up in a way that law school never did. And yep, I was supposed to go back to law school. I had this whole responsible, practical, immigrant daughter-approved plan. So I told my acting teacher I was quitting. And he just looked at me and said, I respect your decision, but just don't forget, you're a self-expression junkie. Don't ever stop expressing yourself. And that moment haunted me in the best way, because even when I didn't go back to law school, I didn't. Even when I tried to dim the parts of me that felt too much, I could still hear his voice. I knew I couldn't stay quiet forever. I needed to tell stories, like people need to breathe air. So why are we so afraid to express ourselves, to be creative? Maybe it's because self-expression isn't safe. It's vulnerable. People might not get it. They might not like it. And for a lot of us, especially if we grew up in homes where being sensible was revered and being creative was like a luxury reserved for people with super rich artistic parents. But here's the truth. It's not a luxury. It's a need. And the longer we avoid it, the more we disconnect from ourselves, from our joy, from the people we're supposed to be, and the ones we're meant to reach. So what happened to the self-expression junkie who left that acting class? She got quiet for a while, but she didn't disappear. Before I started this podcast, I was definitely expressing myself, just in very corporate ways. I was writing Slack messages like they were short stories. I was putting together team events that felt like Broadway productions, yep, full of dramatic arcs, comedic beats, and emotional montages. I was orchestrating talk show level conversations between our leadership and ICs like I was producing The View. And sure, I was writing in my journal incessantly, performing to an audience of one in the car while I was driving in rush hour traffic, and making people laugh. I mean, mostly my husband and dog, but it wasn't out there. Not really. It was like I was hiding in plain sight, tucking pieces of myself into safe corners, hoping someone might notice, but terrified if they actually did. I kept thinking, like, is this it? Am I just the funny meeting opener girl? Am I always going to just make other people shine? What if I actually put myself out there, not just in here? And of course, what if I missed my chance? When I launched this podcast 6 months ago, I was terrified. What if I ran out of stories? What if I said something cringe on the internet? I mean, what would people think of me? But instead, the opposite happened. It was like I cracked open the floodgates. Stories are oozing out of me. I'm not running out. I'm just getting started. And about what people think of me, yeah, I'm still working on that part. And let me be clear, I still don't feel like a confident podcaster. Here's the thing no one tells you about self-expression. I mean, it's a muscle, The more you use it, the stronger it gets. When you first start working out and you kind of hate it, everything's sore, you dread it, you question all your life choices. But if you just stick with it, there's this moment when it shifts, your body, it starts to crave movement. Creativity works the same way, you guys. It's easy to feel blocked when we've been hiding our creative selves for so long. But the more light you shine on it, the more you practice expressing yourself, the easier it gets to bring it to the surface. When I started this podcast, I was pitching it like a 4-year-old. Yep, all shaky and wide-eyed and, hi, I made this thing. It's not a real thing, but it's kind of a thing, so please don't look at it directly, okay? Now I'm pitching it like a 6-year-old, still a little nervous, but out here, with a little glitter glue and confidence, yelling, look what I made. It's about me. I hope you like it. And someday soon, I'll be pitching like an 8-year-old, unbothered, unfiltered, wearing a Wonder Woman cape, as long as my stylist approves. Here's what I'm learning. So many of us are craving more creativity, more freedom, more expression, but we've convinced ourselves that we're too old or too late or too weird. My friends, they tell me things like, yeah, I want to post my flower arrangements on Instagram, but I don't know, I'm scared people will judge. I want to change careers, but what if it's too late? I want to show more of my real self online, but what if I'm too old? And to all of that, I say, yes, you actually can, and please do. Because your voice matters, your creations matter, your messy, magical, one-of-a-kind self matters no matter who you are or how old you are. This podcast, it started as a small thing, a little creative outlet, but it's becoming so much more. And the coolest part, you're here with me, watching me find my voice again, maybe finding a little more of yours too. So let's up-level together, because being a self-expression junkie, yeah, that might just be our superpower. So what did we talk about today, huh? We talked about what self-expression really means and how easy it is to lose it. I shared how starting this podcast brought me back to life creatively. And more importantly, we reminded ourselves it's okay to start small, to be scared, to be 4-year-old with bubbles. Because the more you express yourself, the more yourself you become. All right, here's an assignment. Yes, it's a fun one. This week, I want you to do one thing that helps you express yourself. Not your curated self, not your what will people think of me self. You. Maybe it's sharing your art. Maybe it's texting that honest thing you've been scared to say. Maybe it's wearing the outfit that feels so you, even if it's too much for a Wednesday. Also, is this outfit too much? Whatever it is, do the thing. And if you feel really brave, post about it and tag me or send me a DM. I want to cheer you on. Let's be bold together. See you next time, my self-expression junkies.